Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Elland Road. Norwich City, of course, taking on Leeds United, unbeaten at home this season. The team news has dropped, and I'll bring it to you now. One change for Norwich City. Marcelino Nunez comes in for Ashley Barnes, who drops to the bench, which means Norwich City line up with Gunn in goal, Stacey, Duffy, Gibson, and Yanulis as the back four. Nunez, McLean, and Sarah as a midfield three potentially, with Rowe and Sainz behind Josh Sargent. The subs bench long: Fisher, McCallum, Gibson, Sorensen, Fashnakt, Hernandez, Barnes, and Ida. So I'll just read that again: Gunn, Stacey, Duffy, Gibson, Yanulis, Nunez, McLean, Sarah, Rowe, Sainz, Sargent. Paddy Davitt joins me at Elland Road. We are pretty fresh in these seats, to be honest. It's taken us a little while to get to Elland Road, about half an hour to do a mile, wasn't it? So it was not a particularly fun journey. Paddy, one change. What do you make of that starting 11 from David Wagner? It feels very transitional.
Yeah, I mean, it's as always when you see that in the midfield dynamic, for me, it's immediately Sarah. Where does he fit into that equation? That'll probably tell us a lot about in David Wagner's worldview of this game, how he feels it's going to pan out. If it's Nunez and McLean with Sarah further forward, and that on the face of it will be very exciting if he's in that Barnes type role. I don't think it's going to be as adventurous as that myself, but
I mean, the way the club have laid it out, it reads like a 4-3-3.
Exactly. So, and that is quite a departure, really, and that, as you rightly say, Connor, is, and we know we saw it at close quarters for however many seasons. Daniel Farker sides will want to dominate the ball, and I'm sure they'll do that tonight, which means Norwich in transition. You've got Rowe, you've got Sainz, Sargent, very mobile forward, and then you've got Sarah in behind. So I think it is a transitional game, and that, to me, is when a David Wagner team is at its best, when they're a bit like West Brom Saturday, really. You probably don't shade the possession, but you maybe look more potent. They'll be doing well to look more potent than this Leeds attack tonight, because I think they're probably, as a collective, probably the best in the division for me. So, and all their big hitters are there looking at their lineup. So, yeah, it might be less about what Norwich do midfield and forward areas and how good that back four and Angus Gunn are in terms of nullifying what is some serious talent in attacking areas for Leeds.
Yeah, just to read you their starting 11: Meslier, Gray, Firpo, Rodon, Ampadu, Fruev, Kamara, Somerville, James, Ruter, Bamford. Their bench: Clayson, Cooper, Joel Pirou. Not a bad substitute to have at this level. Jaden Anthony, Jamie Shackleton, a certain Sam Byram on the bench, Ian Pervada, Joe Gelhart, who I think scored the last-minute winner when we were last here in the Premier League a couple of years ago, Matteo Joseph, and of course they're managed by a certain Daniel Farker. It is interesting, and you were at David Wagner's press conference. It felt like he feels this is going to take, or Norwich City certainly, to get something here tonight, they're going to have to depend on their game being basically the best level that it can be.
Yeah, well, that's fair, I think. I mean, we discussed it in that press conference. Record here at home in the Championship this season: 14 games, won 10, drew 4, 0 losses. The only side in this division now who haven't lost a game at home in the league. That's all you need to know in terms of the peak that Norwich need to get to, and that's, I guess, what David Wagner was reiterating externally. I'm sure he's internally that they will probably they'll probably have to produce their best performance of the season, I think, to get a result here tonight. They're capable. There's players in that attacking areas. We just already discussed it for Norwich. I think they can cause Leeds problems, but it's just going the other way. Can they do a good enough job at nullifying the complete potency? Because I don't think you're going to keep out players like Somerville and James and Ruter, for me there, and Perot's on the bench, which underlines how strong they are in attacking areas. So Angus Gunn's going to have to play very well tonight, but if Norwich can get enough of the ball in those transitional areas with the attacking talent they've got in their ranks, yes, they can test a Leeds defence, which I don't think is the best in the division. So the record tells you that. But we all know that they're probably, they're in a different strata in terms of, I think they're clearly viewing it as they're in that fight for the top two, them and Leicester and Ipswich and Southampton. Norwich's ambitions probably slightly a wrong lower now, and that's that pack of clubs trying to get in the top six. So the onus is on Leeds, ready to force the pace with me tonight, and that might suit Norwich in terms of how this game unfolds. If it's Leeds being the aggressors, Leeds on the front foot, as long as out of possession, Norwich can be reasonably robust and resolute, and that's not always been the case, as we know this season, then I think they will get opportunities to probe any vulnerability going the other way.
Yeah, agreed. And you mentioned that it feels like Jack Stacey and both Jack Stacey and Dimi Yanulis are going to have a very tough evening tonight. Somerville and James, both players who, Somerville in particular has been superb this year. One of the best, if not the best, operator at this level in those attacking areas. Patrick Bamford has come back into the team and been pretty effective in where he has played. I think Ampadu's interesting because I think I'm right in saying he plays centre half against Preston. So there's a possibility that we see that again. And we know what to expect from a Daniel Parker side. At home, they want to dominate, they want to have lots of the ball, and it will be about how many opportunities they can create against this Norwich City side. So it's going to be a big night and a long night potentially for all of those back four. And you would suspect come full time, hopefully they're smiling, but they're going to be absolutely shattered, aren't they?
Well, they will be, yeah. So I've only got Anfield away on Sunday, plenty of time to rest up for that. But I mean, they should not lack the confidence tonight, because that was, by common consent, one of, if not the best performance of the season against West Brom at the weekend, given a team in and around them in the table. The manner that they nullified what West Brom were trying to do, and then they, found those two clinical interventions in each half. Why can't they do something similar tonight? You would say Leeds is a step up from West Brom, certainly in attacking areas. We don't want to keep repeating it, but you touched on it there. Somerville is probably the standout player in this division so far. And if they're in the mood, if this home crowd have something to get behind, then it's a very difficult place, as we know. But, stranger things have happened. And it was not all that long ago, was it? With Daniel Parker in charge, they came here and upset the apple cart memorably. And like I say, I don't think Leeds defensively are a team that you can't get at it, but in order to do that, they're going to have to be very good structurally against the ball. If the C parts and the back four doesn't get any protection from the midfield in front, then I think it's only going to end up one way, really, because they will create a weight of opportunities, and with the quality they've got in the final third, they will take some of those opportunities. So massive onus on McLean, probably primarily, but Nunes and Sarah to afford them that protection and not make it that easy for Norwich to get played through. Mr. Hawker, you're going to come on and join us? No? Norwich's head of comms? You're going to come on now? We're live, come on. No? Okay. But, so yeah, the game for me is about Norwich good enough out of possession to frustrate Leeds and stop them from getting into that rhythm, and if they do that, then I feel with a Rowe and with a Science and with a Sargent, they're as good as any in the division for me. Certainly Rowe and Sargent. So why can't Norwich cause Leeds a few problems tonight? What I don't want to see, and I've seen a couple of comments already, is we get a parking the bus / Southampton type setup, because I don't see any way with that method tonight against this Leeds team that results in anything other than a defeat. You have to, in the moments you get the opportunity, go and probe them the other way. If you just sit in here and hope, it's going to be a very, as you said, Connor, a very long night.
Indeed, and here is that Leeds side, and it does confirm that Ethan Ampadu is playing as a central defender, which I think we probably expected. That front four is ridiculous for Championship level, to be frank, and illustrates what you were talking about there, the need for protection, the need for solidity. But, as we mentioned, you would expect Graham Firpo. We know how Daniel Farke and how high he used to play his fullbacks at Norwich City. They are going to leave space for Rowe, for Science to exploit. And what Norwich City have in those two are two excellent ball carriers who should be able to get them up the pitch. And you mentioned there were vulnerabilities, which Preston did very well to exploit, actually, here on Sunday. Paddy, it's a big week for Norwich City. This game has to be viewed as with a real sense of opportunity, given what they did on Saturday, given what they did last week. A win would take them into the top six, albeit the teams behind them would have a game in hand. But more than that, it would be an absolutely massive statement and probably a massive milestone with this Norwich City team under this head coach, with the pressure and the criticism that they've taken this year, to come here and win the game.
It would, yeah. I mean, tonight they kick off their 2 defeats in 12, which it doesn't feel like that because we've all lived through the frustrations of Southampton particularly, and even the Bristol Rovers' first cup tie, but that is irrefutably an excellent body of work over a consistent period. So Well, but to be fair, Connor, I mean, for me, West Brom, that was a crossroads type of game in the season because West Brom, as we've mapped out, you look at the league table, they're directly going up against them, I think, for maybe fourth at a push, more likely fifth or sixth positions in the table. I think Leeds are in a slightly different strata. So if they were to get beat tonight, I don't think it feels as potentially damaging as a defeat would have done to West Brom at the weekend. But by the same token, you're right. You come here and you get a positive result, then it just reaffirms that
they're here to stay.
In the calendar year alone, but then you'll have played Southampton, played Hull, played West Brom, and played Leeds, and you haven't lost. That to me is a mark of a side who should be in the top six.
Would you take a point?
I'd sign for a point now. I'll snatch your hand off for a point, Connor. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. Are they going to get a point?
No, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard to maintain that level of optimism just because of their attacking players.
Not even on the bench, let alone. Yeah. I mean, Anthony, one promotion. Perot, brilliant at this level. Well, we know the pace that he has. I mean, some squad they've got.
It is, and the thing of it is now, you know, with dare I say Ipswich getting that point at Leicester on a Monday, the run Southampton are on under Russell Martin. I don't think a draw is good enough for what they're aiming to be, which is to break into that top two. So I think their absolute desperation for the result tonight, I think, might just tip the balance. I'm going to go 2-1 Leeds. You
2-1 Norwich. Go big or go home. No idea if it'll happen, but you know, it's we might as well, mightn't we?
Let's hope you're right and I'm wrong.
Yeah, let's hope so. I can see a whole magnitude of results if I'm honest with you. Pinkun.com, of course, the place to go for all the analysis, all the reaction to this game. Paddy will be speaking to David Falconer afterwards. We'll have all of the usual stuff as well in the build-up to Sunday's FA Cup trip to Anfield. Big week for Norwich City. Thank you very much. Enjoy the game if you're here tonight, if you're watching at home or following along, and we will speak to you very soon.